the 10 minutes to go.
Yeah, take it down.
I should take it down.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it should be good now, right?
I believe so. Let me just try adjust my screen.
No, it's fine. It's fine now. I can see the attendees who are joining. Welcome, people.
Hello. Hello.
We can hear you.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Hello, all the attendees and the panelists. I'd like to welcome you all for this webinar. The favor to make it on time. We thank you all for being here on time, the attendees. I can see Ida, I can see Craig, I can see Dennis, Esther, Dami, Jolie, all of you guys. Thank you for making it on time. We're just waiting for I think an extra 2-3 minutes before we begin off, as more people are joining us, and we'll kick off our session today. I hope all of you are good. You know, it's a Friday, and you know we're going to learn something new. So yes, I welcome you all. And right before we get into this session, yes. So let's just hold on for a second, and then we'll be starting off. Within 2 minutes from now, we'll be starting off. Yeah. Hello. Yes. Sorry. By the way, as we wait for the rest of the attendees to join us, the voice you're hearing right now, I'm by the names of Emmanuel Luvuma. I work with Blue Flamingo. I'll be more of like the moderator for today. I'll be heading the moderation, and I'm super excited. So let's just wait for an extra less than 1 minute, and then I believe we can start off. I hope my network is okay. You can hear me great. If you can't hear me very well, please feel free to share in the chat and say we can't hear you very well, or even maybe with the rest of the panelists, if you can't hear them very well, it's always great to notify us. So sometimes we might not really know. Yeah. So, and as we go through this session, I would wish to, great, you can hear me very well. Thank you, Luvuko, for notifying me there. Yes, so as we kick off as well, to even learn and ask questions. And the model we're going to use as we're asking questions, I'll just encourage you guys to share in the chat section. Yes, we're using already the chat section. So please, the attendees, encourage you, as if you have any question, please don't wait until it gets out of your head or you forget about it. As the participants or the panelists are sharing, you could always drop in a question and then direct it, put a name alongside it to who you want to ask. Is it Edwin, Ben, or Robert, as I'll introduce, or as they will introduce themselves as our key panelists today. So I think it's about time. It's around 15 minutes past 3. We should be able to start right now because we can't wait any longer. The rest will be joining us as we go. As I already introduced myself, I'm by the names of Emmanuel Luvuma. I work with Blue Flamingo Digital Africa, and I'm your moderator today. I'll welcome our first panelist, who's called Ben. Ben, could you briefly introduce yourself to the panelists, to the attendees, for them to know about you? And then after, I'll go to Edwin. Edwin, after Ben, you will introduce yourself, then Robert. Yes. Ben, over to you.
Thank you so much for this opportunity, and thank you all for attending. My name is Ben Kuyo. I'm Chief Creative Director at Blue Flamingo Digital Africa. Robert?
Oh, I thought it was Edwin next. Okay, I am going to share my video. I made an effort to really suit up a little bit, like, under the pandemic, suit up and shut down. Yeah, so I'm Robert, ex or former Blue Flamingo. I'm excited to be here. I look after the Scheme office in Uganda, and I'm very excited to, to be sharing with all of you. And thank you for keeping time and joining us on this one. Over to you, Emma.
All right.
Thank you.
Emma?
Yes, Edwin, go ahead, please.
I'm Omala Edwin. I work with Blue Flamingo. I'm the digital, basically I'm the media buyer at Blue Flamingo. I'm excited to be a part of the panelists. And I think that's pretty much it. I can't wait to get started and probably hear from what most of the attendees have to say.
Right, great. Thank you, Edwin. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Robert. Robert actually shared a little bit about, himself, like the video. I believe all the, panelists, if you have the ability, I don't know, sometimes the network should be maybe an issue, but if you can, I would request you share the video. Yeah, thank you so much. So as we kick off, of course, our webinar for this month, you already know the topic. We're going to be talking a lot about handouts and discuss extensively around that and how we can leverage that space post-COVID webinar. Yes, so I hope all of you guys are really anxious and excited to know and hear what the panelists are going to share. So I'll just go to panelists to share. So Ben, over to you. Let's kick off this. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. I believe you can all see me now.
Yes,
yeah,
we can see you very well.
Great. So thank you again, Emma, for this opportunity. I'm really excited to share the insights and stuff that we have discovered and how we can be able to take advantage of these learnings in the digital space. So like I mentioned earlier, my name is Ben Kuyo. I'm a Chief Creative Director at Blue Flamingo Digital Africa. I'm currently based in Uganda. The people in the office know I am the resident meme lord and the only person who is allowed to not be sane in the office. So let's begin. So my presentation is about the new age of shared experiences. And as we go along, you will understand why post-COVID, that's what life has become. So the consumption habits post-COVID have changed quite a lot. Everyone wants to see what is happening with people, with their friends, trying to see what's happening around the world. And what this has done is we have seen a rise in the older generation and very young people joining in and becoming part of the audience on social media. This is, because people are studying online, the older generation is trying to catch up with what's happening, and TV is not enough. But there generally across the board, not just on digital, there has been an increase in consumption of media. However, with this, there has been an increase in advertising. 15% is approximation for 2020. And this has been, what we're finding is there's been an advertising overload. This overload might not necessarily be from the bigger organizations, but we are also seeing, what we are seeing is a lot of SMEs are beginning to advertise online. Your boutique, your local boutique, someone who's selling some electronics, phones and the like. If people who are in Uganda are probably targeted quite a lot by people who are selling phones, who are selling furniture, who are doing home decor and the like. But why are these consumption habits also changing? People are streaming quite a lot. And this has become the escape for people. You want to know what is happening, you're going to stream. You're going to go on Netflix. You're looking for a way to connect with people. And ever since people went into lockdown, the only way people could connect was to share what's happening in their lives. And if they needed to, it was almost like a form of therapy. Yeah, you're locked inside, you get this creative overload, you start creating, challenges, random dance challenges that have been created. People have been creating skits, they've been creating vlogs. There's also been the rise of all these new spaces that have come up. There are platforms like Clubhouse, for example, which has really grown, especially in 2021. The consumption on TikTok has really, really grown. And what was considered a platform for people who are below the age of 25 is now being consumed by people who are even over the age of 40. Platforms like Netflix, Showmax, YouTube, and other online streaming platforms have also seen a huge increase, indicating that there's a lot of competition for attention with traditional media. People are finding ways to entertain themselves. In a time where there's a lot of sad stuff that is happening, we find people are creating skits, they're creating memes. Any single thing that happens, people are memeing or creating memes out of all the situations that happen. People are there ranting, there are people who are dancing, there are people who are cooking. Whether they're good at that cooking or not is a different story. But what else is happening? People are becoming more real. People are choosing to be real and less perfect. The pandemic basically accelerated trends like working from home and shopping online. But we saw a reversal in things like using of or creating grids on Instagram, which were seeking a lot of perfection. Social media posts, especially grid photos, have been criticized in the past because they're unrealistic and they're idealized for portraying people's lives as, flashy. And there was less of that during the pandemic. Reason being, people are not going out as much. They can't really show off much. However, things got a lot sloppier. Houses were messy. You get into a meeting like, the lady who's there on the right-hand side, who is a reporter on CNN, her house was a mess, but that was not an issue. There's a video of an Indian couple where the wife walked in on a meeting and tried to give the husband a kiss mid-meeting. People are not caring as much anymore. They want less polished. There's a more real side. People will appear for meetings, for work with unkempt hair, it's all shaggy and all. Ladies will appear without makeup, but it's because the less perfection and more real has become normal. Online shopping, like I mentioned, has also increased. Platforms like Jumia, Glovo, across the globe, people who have online stores for their businesses have generally seen an increase in sales. So this is really the age of experiences. And why do I say the age of experiences? If you're a business and you've realized that for most businesses who've been doing ad buy, especially the big ones, you realize that because there's a lot of ad blockers on the increase, there's an overload of ads from different businesses, SMEs and the like, and sometimes you just can't compete for all this attention. People are choosing to skip ads when they go on YouTube. So how do you reach this audience? How do you get them to engage with your brand? How do you get them to purchase your brand? Because at the end of the day, you're looking for return on investment, cash-wise as well. What we are thinking is stop serving ads and deliver experiences. And one such experience is through augmented reality, which I'm going to talk about later. And this is one such example for G, where all you have to do is turn on your Instagram camera. You click on an ad, turn on the camera, and you'll be able to do a proper, you'll be able to do a tour, sorry. You're able to do a tour of this vehicle. The there's a need to feed the hunger for real active experiences. And by real active experiences, I mean opportunities where people are able to become fit or move their bodies. We've seen virtual runs coming up in the last year. There was a really big one in Kenya, which was hosted by Safaricom, I believe. People are beginning to create with their audience, and it's something that I believe is very healthy. And why create with the audience is it creates a sense of ownership from the audience. They feel that you are loyal to them, not the other way around. They're loyal to you as a customer, but you're also loyal to them by allowing them to be part of creating your brand. The use of micro-influencers is also something that we believe will be very, very big. There is nothing that is more credible than a watchman selling to a watchman, to a house help selling to a house help, for a grandfather to sell to a grandfather, not a macro influencer with 100,000 followers telling you to buy something that you have no interest in. So the use of micro influencers is something that we believe is going to really, really grow, and I'm going to talk about this. So during COVID, the rise of what we are calling the micro influencer has really, really shot up. And platforms like Wowzy, who are one of our partners, are there to help people who are just getting into the influencer space, or what we call micro influencers. People with just 3,000 followers on their platform are now able to join in the influencer space. So everyone is becoming an influencer. Making peer recommendations is the new thing, and it's very, very viable for your business. Why we're saying this is the macro influencer, there's a macro influencer perception shift from moving from your content favorite, because your favorite content creator is becoming an internet billboard. You log on to watch a piece of content and they're telling you, join 1xBet. And it's less entertainment and more advertising. So they are shifting, or the audience will be more likely to shift to the person who's just going to deliver them with content. Give them just genuine content that's real. And it's a cost-effective, genuine way to gain brand awareness. The other thing is augmented reality. And as I come closer to the end, augmented reality is like the example that I shared earlier. And how this works is we target, and I'll show examples, we target the client with an augmented reality ad that will get them engaged in an experience. And I'm going to show you some examples of how this would work. So once you get them hooked, or rather once they are in on this experience, they are able to engage with it. And when they participate and click through, it's able to drive them to be able to purchase the final product that they've been experiencing. So I'll show an example. Yeah. If we look on the video on the right-hand side, for example, they will make a choice. You're able to run a quiz, and at the end of the quiz, you're able to select a prize and go and be able to win that prize and get it received on your inbox. After that, you're maybe someone who's into a brand like Nivea, and we're taking advantage of experiences or things that people are making use of every single day. We are always, or the younger, I would say people who are always on Instagram are very interested in using filters when taking photos. And this is how we take advantage of that to be able to build brands. We create experiences using the things that people are already using in their digital day-to-day life to be able to capture their attention, because it's different, it's engaging, and you're able to bring your audience closer to you. For example, this last one that I'm showing you is a lady who is trying to buy makeup. And what you do is you set up a camera on Instagram, filter on Instagram, which allows them to be able to check how the makeup is going to look on their skin before they even purchase it. But when they do purchase it, what happens? They are able to, or rather when they do select the filter that they want, they then are able to go and purchase that same makeup that they saw on Instagram or that they used on their filter. You're able to convert someone just off a normal filter, yeah? So these are the two big things that we see that we can be able to take advantage of in the creative space. Edwin is just going to come in and talk about the media aspect of things and how, and even Robert, they'll talk about the media end of things and how you can be able to push things like augmented reality, and how you can be able to amplify the work that you're doing with your micro influencers to be able to drive return on investment for your brand. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ben, for that insight and deep, content you've been sharing a lot about the trends and what is happening currently. As we're waiting for Edwin to kick off his presentation, I'll just ask, as already said, guys, if you have any question, any supplement, any comment, please, you can always share in the comments section for this webinar, and we'll be able to, attend to you. So, yes, thank you so much, Ben, for that. So I'll just now welcome Edwin to start off presenting, but I'll ask Edwin to share via the presentation mode because we, it's showing in PowerPoint. Please, if you could just
just give me a second.
Edwin, can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Just give me a second.
Shift F5, Shift F5.
Yes, Edwin, please. Edwin, Shift F5.
Shift
That's
F5.
what you have to press then.
Yep,
Everybody
I believe
can.
should be.
Yeah.
I believe we should be in position to now see my monitor, rather my presentation.
Yes, please. You can see.
Okay.
Thank
so,
you.
BK, thank you very much for the introduction and the presentation you just had. So basically what I'm going to be talking about is more of how exactly during this pandemic, the tales of programmatic advertising and post-pandemic, and what exactly, let's just dive deep in, and I'll start by explaining what exactly is programmatic advertising. So for those who are not really very conversant with programmatic advertising, this is just an automation that makes basically it's automated buying and selling online advertising. So just like Ben has been talking to you guys and telling you about the various ways people are trying to reach out to the specific clients and all, this is just one of the ways we can be able to set up ads which can actually reach specific audiences. So what this means is automation. Basically, this makes transitions more efficient and more effective, streamlining the process and consolidating just your normal digital advertising efforts on one platform. And the one thing that programmatic has done is that it has been developing along the course of the years, in that they have developed a very big inventory and database such that any format and channel can be accessed programmatically. To that means it could be your mobile phone, desktop, tablets, any connected TV that's basically the smart TVs and all that. So just the slide below is just a small representation of how exactly it works. It's basically from the advertiser to the DSP, that is the data side platform, ad exchanges and networks, and then SSP, that's the supply side platforms. Then we have the publishers and the audience, the people who will eventually get to see what sort of ads have been set out to them. So now the next part is why should you look at advertising during this time? in to be specific, more of a programmatic advertising. So the whole item with programmatic is it has real-time measurement and optimization, which basically provides your ability to measure exactly how your creative pattern is, how your creative is actually performing, campaign and overall targeting is performing as soon as the campaign is actually launched. Then we have also greater targeting capabilities. So with programmatic, at least advertisers can able to reach your ideal customer at a given, like at any time for any given goal you have according to the objective that you have. And then the other one is increased audience reach. So at any time, there are close to 3.5 billion people on the internet average. Case points in Uganda list where like 6.5 million people that can be reached on average. So in case you're looking at programmatic advertising, you basically can reach close to 6.5 million people. So what exactly do you need to know about programmatic advertising? Just a few terms you'll come across as we keep going into the presentation. So we have a cost per click, which is just the amount any advertiser pays every time an ad, every time one of their ads clicked on. So that's cost per click. Then we have CPM, that's cost per mille. It's basically just for 1,000 views of an ad, that's exactly what you pay for. Then we have click-through rates. This is just the ratio showing how often people see your ad and end up clicking on that kind of ad. Then we have real-time bidding. So real-time bidding is just basically, it's more of a real-time auctions, meaning transactions are made in time as the page, as it takes to load a web page. Then so on part of that, we have the DSP, which is basically software that will allow any person who's actually advertising to buy impressions across a range of publisher sites and apps targeted to specific people out there. This may basically be, we're looking at people who are trying to reach out to various target audiences, and depending on exactly what objective they have, but impression is just the number of people who have seen a specific ad. And what it does is that you're able to target specific users basically based on information such as their location, browsing behavior, that kind of thing. Then we have the supply side platform, which is just used by publishers to manage sale available inventory or space for ads on their website and apps in an automated fashion. So people who are there, let me say in Uganda, and you want probably your ads to appear, let me say like New Vision, something similar to that, that would be the SSP platform part of it. Then generally, DMP is just the software that collects information, that collects and organizes information about consumers. So exactly like every person online today has a different browsing history. So like what the DMP does is it just gathers that information into various types of data, like in terms of interest, location, like what places have you visited, and what apps are you actually using. Then we have the private marketplace, which is PMP. This is only for invitation only. So what this means is there's a lot of transparency between the publisher and advertiser, which basically goes more into brand safety. And I think as we keep going on, my colleague Robert will take you more into brand safety and what exactly it's all about. But so given that I've given you a brief introduction in that, this is exactly who we can target on programmatic. Given the data opportunities we have to segment various users, we can easily meet most of any client's needs. Give that meaning you're able to reach out to any specific person selling a specific brand at a specific moment. So basically, we just create and store different audiences with different interests and attributes. What do I mean? Basically, this is like the age, gender, interest, location, etc. Then something similar to that. So we have like the behavior attribute to it. So in here we have consumer interest, then we have retargeting, user lists, visit locations, geofencing, socioeconomic class. So consumer interest is just basically what some of this online audience is interested in. Let me say, case in point being this webinar, like most people either interested in marketing or had anything related to that. So that could be one of the interests you can use. Then what do I mean by retargeting? Retargeting, in case we're running like any sort of campaign, and we've had people who have clicked on a couple of links or something similar to that, we can always retarget those people to see various ads. Then user lists, then visited locations, just basically something called footfall, which Robert will take you through, whereby you can be able to target people based on certain location that they're in within that given period, and they're able to see a specific ad. Then geofencing is just exactly as it is. Like, let me say you're in Uganda, you can geofence ads to a specific area that could be in Tinda, Bukoto, or anything similar to that. Then we have socioeconomic class. So socioeconomic class is just basically the same way it sounds, just levels. So we have A, B, C, and D. So given the various products people have, I believe by then you should know who the target audience is. If it's A, you're able to target people who are strictly in the A class. That's in case you're saying selling a high-end product or something similar to that. Then we have placements. This is exchanges, upsides, position, and time. This is exactly where the ads can appear. Then we have the tech part of it. So what kind of how people actually get to see these ads. So we have browsers, operating systems, operators, and we have 3G, 4G, Wi-Fi, device and brand model, device range, and data points. Those are some of the key points that we use to get to the socioeconomic class. Just get to know the device the person is holding, what brand it is, visited location, something similar to that. Then for demographics, it's basically it's just age, gender, location, and hyper location. So after that, I'll just briefly take you through what is there for lead generation, because given the fact that you've now probably done a bit of programmatic and all, you need to see if you will eventually have some people convert. So what this means is, after you have your DSP, this is just an example of a customer profile. And it's not general, but just to show you exactly what it looks like. So let me say we have college students, we have established people, we have married moms, and we have techies. So what we can do with programmatic is we can break down these custom profiles into women and children, probably 18 to 25 years old. They're probably looking at student loans, college financing. At least they have a mobile device that's like over $200 plus. So this is in case for the various audiences that you're trying to reach out, or campaigns that you're trying to push, in case it's something related to education, then that's how probably you can get to tap into such kind of people. Then the established people, who are these probably just men and women, 25 years old plus, so that it's 25 to 35 years plus. And of course, they have different interest categories, but we could look at some of them as being people who have like probably $400 phone plus, mobile device, probably has a car, there's higher kind of education, a bit done with school and all, probably into business and IT related fields. Then we have the married moms. So this is just basically women, like in particular, in case you're running some sort of a campaign and your main objective is to target strictly what? Ladies or married women out there. So 25 years plus. Interest could be just parenting, childcare, education, and books, something similar to that. Then we have the techies, 22 years plus, $400 because they have lots more knowledge about IT education and all. They're interested in tech news at the end of the day, computers, video games, basically anything that's trendy. These people are actually interested in, and we can easily target these people based on that. So what the DMP is just more of the information that the DMP can gather, which is a location tag, content use, travel status, ISP, socioeconomic class, how they consume their data, what kind of devices are they using? Are they using a multi, like is it 2 SIM cards, something similar to that? What kind of sites have these people visited? So in case you're running any sort of campaign, you're able to target people based on some of this information. Then we have a part of interest targeting. advanced interest targeting. So this is just basically what people like, some of the interest areas that people have. If it's arts and entertainment, you have the variety which falls under that. Automobile, some is it finance, credit lending, home financing. So those are just some of the examples of the interest targeting areas that you can actually use. Then the other part is just going to be, oh, sorry. So after you've figured out who your buyer person is going to be and all, obviously you'll have to get to the part of the creative and your targeting. And with the programmatic, at least there's available creative formats, which is that we have image banners like 10 different sizes. There's a native ads, GIFs, animated ads, and video ads. So like Ben had talked about, like if you're a person who likes Navier, the way they can reach out to you through using interactive ads, which are basically, it's more of a rich media ads. So like Ben had explained, these are ads where a person can, it's more engaging, like a person can basically do something with the ad. Like, I don't know if that makes a lot of sense, but the targeting possibilities are quite many, like demographics, age, gender, location, what technology are they using, like how are you accessing the internet, what browser, what operator they're using, is it Airtel, MTN, something similar to that, what device are they using, then the operating systems they're running with, and of course, for the interest part of it, there's over 500 plus categories that we can select from. That's an example could be finance, insurance, sports. It could be education. Like the variety is actually quite wide, depending on who your target audience is for the specific campaign that you'll be running. So just a brief way, like in case since I had said we're looking at leads, a brief way you can actually set out a few ads to try and collect a few leads during this period, the pandemic period. What we can do is there's various ads you can use is click to call, click to SMS, click to USSD, click to chat, then click to map. So generally what happens is an ad, a user is going to see an ad which will lead them to the website. That's click to the website. But on top of that, we have other available options which I had gone through, like click to call, click to SMS. Let me just briefly take you through those. So like in case you want people to submit leads, like lead form on your website, you just need a few basic things, which is generally being a banner is displayed. So this is your artwork and everything to a selected audience, because by now we already have an audience that we're trying to reach out to. So we have our banners set out that will be focusing on a specific target audience that we have. Then the second part of it is just basically which it will be more of driving traffic to the website where your leads form will be. What usually happens is the user submits a form and it tracks off the dashboard. So that way you're able to collect, you're able to track which specific kind of leads have come through from your website. And one of the requirements for that is that you need a conversion pixel to be installed on the website. And the pixel doesn't collect any website data. It only sends into the system any successful conversion that has happened, which is basically used for better optimizations for other conversion campaigns. Then let me say call to center. It's just pretty much the same thing. A banner is displayed to a specific target audience. Once the person has actually seen the ad, they click on it. It takes the person to a window where there's a pre-filled number that they can get in touch with. So whichever specific number is, that's how the person should be able to track like the lead. So it just basically helps you collect leads for a call center. So the tracking may be off SMS, like SMS on the client side. Same thing with the click to SMS. Always the banner is displayed to target audience. After the target audience has seen the the ad. It takes you to the SMS window with a pre-filled phone number where you can reach out to the client side on exactly what you're trying to gain. Best example is during this pandemic, I believe most people, given that we're not able to move around, have been using like those who have been on Facebook. Like best example is you have the messenger. You've seen those messenger ads whereby like you tap on an ad, it takes you to the messenger part of it. Then you exactly fill in. You literally get in touch with them about what specific product you've seen that you could be interested in. Same thing with click to chat. I'll just cut it short. And then I think probably the last one would be like in-banner lead generation. This is just for people who want to eliminate guys going to a landing page. So the form will just basically enable you to enter your name. Then after that, it's no name greetings or anything. So because at times the leads forms are a bit long. So just to cut it short, you could use in-banner lead generation, which will just lead, like the form is directly chosen from the email part of it. It's just a brief example of what the in-banner lead could look like. So possible information you can gather is phone numbers, username, email addresses, and any other sort of desired information that you would wish to have set in there. Then the click to chat bots is basically potential customers answer questions and provide their information, have qualified leads, which you can schedule on appointments inside Messenger, or you can always let your sales team follow up with these particular leads. And click to chat bot basically has over 80% open rate and 25% click-through rate. Then this is just a part of re-engagement. The re-engagement part of it is basically people who have like engaged with any of the ads that you had set out in your messenger. You could basically gather their tags on completed actions. If they complete a specific action or not, then you can remarket to those sleep customers, which can easily make you automate your leads or sales process. And one of the other things you can do is probably run an A/B testing to figure out what kind of specific ad appeal to the different audiences, which will basically enable you to create segmented ads for these specific people, so you can actually get good quality leads. So Emma, I think I would pretty much leave it at that. Then I will let Robert take you guys more into the advanced part of the targeting on the various ad formats.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Edwin, for sharing and getting us started on that bit of us using programmatic advertising. I'll just request, I think, Edwin, you stop sharing your screen so that Robert can be able to share his as well. Yeah, but thank you so much for those insights. I believe now we're a bit now comfortable to get, running with, programmatic, and Robert is going to take us a little bit, deeper in terms of like programmatic advertising. Yeah, so you're much welcome, Robert. Please take it away. Over to you, Robert.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel. Thank you very much, Edwin. Thank you very much, BK, for that very good passing of the baton so far. I'm loving this. It's such a very exciting day to be part of this, besides just being an African, also to be a Ugandan, because we just won our Olympic gold medal with Cheptegei at the 5,000 meter race. So I'm really excited and super excited to be sharing more of how we would relate with that in the programmatic advertising world. So I'm Robert Sebunya. I'm here, based in Uganda, and attached to the Kenyan team, or to the Sub-Saharan Eskimi team. So I'll be able to share a couple of things that we would love to think about in this period of the post-pandemic. It's seemingly a post-pandemic, but I still feel we are still with this pandemic for quite a while. But I think it's better than the first couple of waves that we have. So started off, the world has really changed in the most recent time. We've had to ditch a lot of the templates or templating that a lot of the marketing departments or even technology departments of the different players that they were doing before. People are experimenting more. People are becoming data puritans, so they're paying attention. They're being obsessed with the data and what it says. And also, we're getting calls and we're constantly keeping more awake when it comes to the digital marketing efforts for some of the players that we work with. So that's the note that I want to really start off with. I'm Robert Sebunya, like I said earlier. I'm an ex-Blue Flamingos. I don't know if that's what you guys call it lately. I was with Blue Flamingo a couple of years ago, I think from 3rd August in 2015 until 28th March 2018. Yeah, so that's a little bit about me. And then I'll start it off with what we have today. What has really changed regarding the pandemic and the digital marketing space. Edwin had introduced a little bit of this earlier. So we've seen lots of changes when it comes to location targeting. And we've had to evolve how we target. So what do I mean by location targeting? So before, a company that deals in fuel will come to you and you have to, they want you to target, to run a campaign. And one of the first places you'd want to target would be fuel stations, for example. But if you, in a couple of countries, you see that in the different waves, you realize that because of a lockdown, not a lot of people are allowed to drive from home or to access services that you would access from a fuel station. So we saw that lots of clients have had to evolve and they switch up how they target, people based on locations. And the same happens, with breweries who are targeting dwellers who are going to the bar to catch a shot here and there. But now those people are drinking from home. So how are you able to target those people? The same happens with shoppers who are going to supermarkets and the like. The same even happens to sports events and sports tournaments and things like those, like golf courses that you are using to target high-end people, who go to a golf course. Now, if a golf course is locked, how are you able to target some of these places? I think we need to rethink how we do that, which means that if we're targeting, we want to look at multiple data points. So when you look at a targeting option like golf courses, what other alternative are you looking at to target? You want to target people who are visiting, let's say, placements of key golfing sites. People are trying to buy golfing equipment, things like those, or even people playing golfing apps on their mobile phone, because we also saw a lot of that kind of traction going up. We also have seen a lot of changes in time-based advertising. We all know that back in the day, we used to say, okay, this is the best time, this is the peak time for people to target them with ads, because now this is the time they wake up, but things have changed, people wake up much earlier or much later because they were sleeping later, or they're sleeping later, even up to now, for those who are still working from home. So those patterns have changed, and we've got to evolve how we target and not stick to what we thought we knew before. So, the average breakfast ad would happen between 10 to 11 because that's when people are at office, but that time has changed. Ads targeting shopaholics have also changed, from just being targeting someone at 12 p.m. The days of week and how they have been approached have also changed. At some point, people lost count on what is a weekend, what's not a weekend, was the whole week a weekend? So what are you going to do about that regarding your targeting? So we're going to talk about a little bit of that as well. Also, something that you want to pay attention to, if you're in the advertising space, you want to pay attention to the data lifestyles have also changed. We saw a lot of growth. This is specific to Uganda, but across multiple countries, Uganda, Nigeria, South Africa, Kenya, most of the countries that we operate in as a SKIMI, we've seen that the usage of internet service providers like fiber to home providers also shot up. Like we had a huge increase across the board there. So what and how are you going to target, that in that line of work? So we've seen a lot of that. So how are you going to target, and what kind of campaigns are you going to create? For example, before people were data saving and data cautious, who are you going to be able to target and at what point? So now you want to think about creating your content marketing efforts. You want to create long form video because people have the time and the data to watch them. Before, people would only watch those because they were in office, because office internet is sort of like unlimited and there are no caps, but now they have fiber to home, so they have unlimited packages, or they're using more packages because they're spending less in other places and spending more when it comes to data, so things like those, you want to think about them now. So we've also seen changes in footfall tracking. So what is footfall tracking for starters? So footfall tracking is a type of tracking which shows the return on investment for a player, for any player. So how do you see the return on investment? So you see an ad, and then we show you which people saw the ad and ended up at your physical store. Now, with no physical stores or physical stores closed for countries like Uganda for some time, three-quarters of the city are locked. So all the building blocks where you'd go ordinarily for shopping were closed off, or where your offices premises are also closed off. So how are you able to show and target people with ads, with footfall tracking campaigns? So you've got to evolve how you do that. We've also seen clients try to wing it, like the banking category. Clients have been able to measure activity on their website, on their online banking platforms versus the ads that were shown up. And you can be able to see that if you have audience and conversion tracking pixels implemented. The same has been with the telecom companies. They have those offers that they know that people who are closed off at home can be able to access them. We've seen FMCGs, these guys in this category, we've seen them jump into putting up their advertisements, their products, through e-commerce marketplaces that have delivery platforms that can be able to deliver to people at home. So we've seen a lot of clients now run a campaign on display, but target target a landing page which is on a platform like an e-commerce platform like Jumia Global, to mention but a few. I know that my colleagues in Nigeria, or the people here in Nigeria, also have some of these platforms, as well as Kenya. So we've seen a lot of that. You see that Coke before, Unilever before, all those players were not playing in that space. They only relied on a brick and mortar system, but they eventually changed from that. So programmatic placements have also changed. We're seeing new universes created, spaces on Twitter, Clubhouse, where people are meeting and talking about stuff, TikTok, people are getting buried into the zone. People no longer go to their favorite Kafunda. And for those of you who are not from Uganda, Kafunda means hangout. People are hanging out on TikTok. Someone is having screen time on TikTok of 6, 4, 5 hours constantly, just perusing through that feed. The workplace has changed from the physical premises, to Zoom, to Teams, and a variety of other places. So how are you able to target these guys? You need to think about that. So you'll see that over the course of the last couple of years, you see that 37% of consumers are spending more time on gaming, and yet only $2.5 billion are being spent yearly on gaming channels. If you see where we've come from before, the previous slide, you see that people are now getting buried and taking up gaming seriously. And I'm not going to talk about platforms like Twitch and the like, but people are really gaming day and night. And yet advertisers world over are spending less time on gaming platforms. And if this is where people are staying, this is where people are hanging out, this is where people are bonding from, is your brand there? So you see that on the contrary, people are spending, 37% of the consumers are spending time on social media, slightly 3% less than the ones on gaming platform. But the spends of advertisers on the games is quite a huge one at $74 billion. So that's where we think you should be spending your money, and I'll show you a little bit of how you can do that. So, the opportunities that are there in the gaming advertising space are in blended in-game advertising. For example, you're playing a console or a PC game or mobile app, a mobile game rather, and inside those placements, inside the game, I like to race a lot. I love cars, and I'm a petrol head. So, when I'm playing Need for Speed, the car that you're driving, my car that I'm driving, on the car, instead of having just my number or the number, I'm going to have the brand, that a branded advert on my car, that I'm driving around. The billboards inside the game, the pathways and things like those are going to be of blended of the advertisement of the advertisers. So you want to start thinking about those areas. And the beauty about this is, one, there's a lot of active game time. Like when someone is playing a video game, unlike the web where you're searching and sometimes you don't see some of the ads you're seeing out there. In a game, someone is watching all the screen, actively, looking out for stuff, falling debris, things that are falling from all over the place, or he's getting shot. So he pays attention to detail. And during that entire time, you can be able to, interact and see some of your advertisement. So that's where you want to look at. And we've talked about universes, the other universe is the TikTok universe. So TikTok is no longer just about people dancing. Brands are really taking it seriously. People advertising via, for example, takeovers, like a brand taking over. What BK shared earlier, you can advertise and take over augmented reality lenses and things like those, where your actual brand is the one there. So TikTok, and you can access it through the Skimmy platform, our single view platform. You can be able to advertise in search placement. You can buy the hashtags, the trending hashtags. You can buy the video views. And the beauty about TikTok is people are viewing the videos to completion. So these are things that you want to start thinking about. Buying trends, you're buying the TikTok trends for your country on that day, so that everyone who is on TikTok on the day at least experiences your brand on that day. So these are things that I feel we should be thinking about in the post-pandemic. So what's happening in the programmatic creative space? That's also a very key issue. BK really highlighted this very well, and Edwin. We're seeing a lot of, we saw before all this, we're seeing a lot of low ad visibility. And then we're also seeing a lot of ad fatigue from the different advertisers, all the way from ads being the good old usual way of doing ads of a static banner, image here, copy here, or words here, or caption here. So people are tired of those kind of ads. Also, people are tired of people who forget to turn on frequency capping. Frequency capping is basically ads, is basically showing, limiting the number of times your piece of advertisement is going to be seen. So things like those are things you don't want to take into the post-pandemic and wasting dollars on people who may not be interested in your ad or who have overseen your ad. Then also another thing that we need to clear away is newspaper advertising style of mapping whatever you plan for your print campaign or your newspaper campaign, and then putting it on a digital banner. That has to stop post-pandemic, and I'll show you some of the things and ways you can be able to do this. So we have a lot of, for example, new ads, new ads, premium rich media ads that go beyond the basics. So for example, we have what we call a floating ad. The floating ad is a very simple type of ad. You're scrolling through a website, and instead of the banner being on the side or up, the banner is at the at the floating end of the article you're reading. For example, you can't read the article fully until you close off this banner. So banners like these have a lot of high visibility, and which means that a lot of your users will be able to see your piece of advertisement. The next that we have is engaging creatives. We'll be able to see a little bit of that. So interactive banners and things like those. Now, the next category is an exciting one as well. We have a lot of gamification, and you should be able to take that off banners now. So beyond just having a static banner, we have our clients have things like this. For example, this we did for an insurance company. For an insurance company. So for example, what you're seeing on the banner is a car game. That basically shows you how much premium for insurance you would have to pay if you overly knocked your car while you're playing the game. So that's just an example of what areas the brands can really play in. So we also want you to think about micro moments or viral moments. It's the Olympics are happening right now. What is your brand doing about it? In Africa, you see a lot of brands, as soon as someone wins a gold medal, like Cheptegei has won, that's when we think about doing a banner, a picture of the participant in the Olympics, and then our copy congratulating him. But there are many ways in which you can do some of this stuff. So for example, if we're being pragmatic a little bit today, during the Olympics, brands should be able to promote the Olympics using very basic things. For example, custom countdowns showing when the athlete, the participant in that country is going to be able to play. For example, showing you how many hours and minutes on when they have won a medal or so. things like those are things you want to think about at this moment. You want to also, run high frequency campaigns that show that your brand really cares about the Olympics in real time. You don't have to be designing the banners. You can pick up this content dynamically based on what's happening at the Olympics in real time, as opposed to you just jumping on things. For example, in your country, people can see the number of medals, the number of participants from the country, and how they have fared live on the banner. So things like those are places you want to be thinking about. Then you want to also try to do fun and games and quizzes, regarding the Olympics games. So what are you doing about them? I'm just going to stop sharing my screen and I show you a little bit of what I mean by that. What I mean by that. Can you see my screen? Emma, can you see my screen?
Robert, we're just seeing you. We can't see your screen.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So this is just an example of what I was mentioning
See
earlier.
your screen now. Yeah.
You can see my screen. So we're going to do a little bit of these banners that I was talking about. For example, a person can be able to take a penalty. It's the Olympics or it's Olympics football. So you just need to drag to score. Things like those, things that are really engaging. Let's say it's rugby. You can be able to drag this. I know I'm going to miss this. So things like those where people are able to participate indirectly and engage with banners. So this can be an Olympiad from Uganda who you're dragging to win a race and things like those. So that's something that I feel a space that we should be playing in post the pandemic. Let me share my screen again. Post the pandemic. So quizzes, trivias, there's this quiz here. Guess which one is not a type of Olympic game sport? Things like those give your brand high visibility, high engagement, and also good brand recall. So over there, this we've already seen, the Olympics fixtures, you can see them in real time. You don't need to be posting these on your, you're a big brand. You don't want to be posting these on your pages. You can automatically automate this so that when someone is searching, when someone is viewing a page out there on a website, they can be able to see the live fixture of what is about to happen. It could be based on their location. It could be based on their interests in the Olympics. If they're interested in football, those are the ads showing. If they're interested in the marathon, those are the fixtures showing to them and things of that sort. So yeah, so that's pretty much it there. Then we've also seen, like I said earlier, the rising of dynamic ads. We've seen a lot of this as well. So dynamic ads are basically those ads that are created based on activity that people have on your website. Let me just play this a little bit. On the activity people have on your website. So if Robert is going on the shoe section of your website, the ads directly pick up the shoe variants that he might be interested in. So based on the different sites and apps that he's visiting, and the ads will show there. You have this same model, instead of you designing the banners, these ads are generated on the fly. You just have your brand logo, the CI and how it should look like. CI stands for your digital branding. What is your ad supposed to look like? So once you take care of that, these ads are dynamically generated based on what parts of your website the person visits or engages with. The same with those product search campaigns, product search ads, or dynamic ads. So Robert has been perusing through his shopping on your site or e-commerce site. It could even be Jumia, it could be anyone, and these are the ads that show up directly, immediately in his product search feed. Let's say he's viewing the website out there, one app, and these are the ads that show, only the ads of the products that he was able to run through on your platform. Things like those are places where you want to be paying your attention to. Now, like all good things, programmatic advertising has a couple of things that need to also be paid attention to, because they're evil. Because where there's good, there's evil. We want to think about that. So we want to also pay attention to what we call ad fraud. Ad fraud, we're seeing a lot of idle people across the globe who want to make a killing from different areas and places. So we're seeing people having lots of server farms that are generating fraudulent impressions, because this is machine against machine. This is technology against technology. So you want to pay attention to that. People have bots that are dynamically generating impressions. So how are you fighting that? Because you're going to find that 40% of your inventory is fraudulent. So you need to start paying attention to that. When you get a digital, your report, are you looking in those areas? Because stuff is happening there. You may have some fraudulent communication happening, or fraudulent impressions, or even clicks. And how are we able to tell fraudulent clicks or impressions? We look at these platforms have technology that allow you to check out for that. For example, at Eskimi, we're able to tell if it's a fraudulent click. Normally, if someone clicks in the middle of a banner, for example, all these phones you see here, you'll see that they're automated and they all click in the middle of a banner. So how are we able to tell that out? So the average human being can never click in the middle of a banner, unless in your internet experience, you sit with a geometry set, a compass and a protractor, and figure out the middle of a banner, then you click there. So we're able to tell some of that stuff and clear it out of the way. Now, another big concern that we've seen is brand safety. Is your brand appearing in an environment that you want it to appear in? For example, is it appearing next to adult content or pornographic content? Are you paying attention to that? Is it appearing next to weapons and firearms? Is it appearing next to ugly scenes of death? You know, people, I mean, there was a rise on people looking at a lot of content to do with the pandemic or the COVID virus. Is your content appearing next to such sad stories, and yet your content is a feel-good brand? You know, so things like those are what you want to appear to look out for in regardless of what you're doing. You don't want your brand to appear next to obscenities, your banners, or illegal drugs. You know, spam and hateful sites, terrorism and tobacco. So all that stuff, there are ways in which you should be able to look through them so that they don't happen. So how should you be able to look out for this? One, you should adopt a framework for brand safety. So the first thing is you want to look at the traffic source of the content information, because this happens programmatically in microseconds. If you don't look in these areas, you'll not be able to know what's happening, for example, with the traffic that you're getting. So you're making sure that your brand is not appearing next to pornography. How do you tell that? This information is normally X-rated, you know. URL keyword checking. Which keywords are you looking out for to make sure that your ad doesn't car accident, and you're running a campaign for Toyota or Mercedes-Benz? Is your ad appearing next to that in that place? So you want to make sure that you are not appearing in that place. Let's say there's a negative sentiment article of people talking about a bad experience with your service. Is your ad appearing next to that? So how are you able to make sure that is not happening? You know, site content reviewing as well has to happen, you know, and that happens on platforms like Eskimi and like Eskimi. So keywords, are those keywords being checked before your ad appears next to, is rendered on a browser that has them? So, you know, the keyword arson, fire outbreak, you don't want your ads to appear next there. For example, your Samsung, you remember the scene of, you know, Samsung's blowing up, and there's an article of Samsung blowing up, having blown up on someone, either in a plane or in a place out there. But your ad of the same Samsung Galaxy is showing right next to that place. Then, of course, we have what we call big brands also have human curated whitelist, a whitelist of sites that they want to appear next to, and then a blacklist of sites that they don't want to appear next to. Do you have those? Are you thinking about those? Because they're sites that you wouldn't want to appear next to, even if they are safe sites. You know, maybe they write crazy erotica content, maybe they write content that is not safe for a certain age bracket, you know, stuff like that. You can be able to do the same. Then lastly, you want to have a framework where you're able to capture, rather you're able to pass on some of this information to an external tool or service. So we have, at Eskimi, we're able to integrate with brand safety across 4 platforms, and you want to pay attention to them. There's Double Verify, there's Integral Ad Science, there's Mods, and there's the Media Trust. So are you able to integrate, while you're buying media, are you able to integrate with these tools so that they study and look at the media where you're buying this, the app and site and the content before you buy an impression, which happens in microseconds when you're buying? Do you have these platforms checking that inventory for you? Even in the report, do you have reports from the brand safety tools showing you that 40% or 30% of your impressions are fraudulent. Are you able to tell that? So this is a place that you want to pay attention to. And they capture both video and audio, and then as well as the text-based advertising that most people do. So you want to start thinking about these going forward, and I think that's pretty much what we have today. Thank you for joining me on this marathon. I'm excited to hear your questions. Of course, the other speakers are also here. If you want to reach out, that's my contact, email, phone number, and that's my Twitter handle in case you want to follow me or reach out via the social networking site. Over to you, Emmanuel. Do we have any questions or things that you may want us to iterate as the presenters that have come before me?
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you, Robert. You've really explained it perfectly. You've dived really deep into, where, of course, Ben started from, going to, of course, Edwin, and you've really summed it up in a very insightful and depth way. So thank you so much, Robert, for that. I'll just probably ask guys, do you have any questions? I haven't seen any questions coming through yet. I don't know if guys are scared to ask, or I don't know if they're reserving these questions to contact the people directly. But yeah, this is a live platform. Please, if you have any question, I would encourage you guys to share it here, so that the panelists can always attend to this. We have Ben as one of our panelists, Edwin as another panelist, and of course Robert. But I think as we're waiting, if anybody has any question, please you will send it in. But as we're waiting for that, I'll just invite Ben one more time, just to summarize and sum up all this as we are trying to conclude this session. Yes, and then in case we get any question, I'll just direct it to the specific panelists. But in case we don't have one, then probably Ben would also share the contact email that they can reach out to you, or even Edwin's, and as Robert has done, so that the attendees can always, ask anytime. Yeah. Over to you, Ben. Thank you.
Thank you, Emma. And thank you everyone for joining us on this webinar. We cannot highlight the importance of staying ahead and staying informed on what's happening on the digital space, and that's why we organized this with a huge focus on how media consumption patterns, on how digital media is being consumed, and what the opportunities are in that space. Don't be afraid to explore beyond what we are used to doing, the traditional stuff that we're used to doing. There are a lot of opportunities that exist currently, but however, the low-hanging fruit and what we believe is very easily accessible right now is, especially for the SMEs, because we realize that there are quite a number of SMEs on this call, is the use of augmented reality and the use of micro-influencers. Now, those are poised to give you a much better return on investment than any of the formats that exist. And of course, when you combine this with a very well-planned media strategy and some decent funding behind your media strategy, you're bound to win. You'll be able to deliver a very good return on investment on your campaign. Emma, I do not know if there are any questions. I will draw my email in the chat.
Yeah. Yes.
Let's take this. Okay.
Right. Thank you so much, Ben, for sharing that. I'll ask also Edwin to share his email, just in case the attendees have any question towards what Edwin has been sharing about or Robert has already shared, BK has shared, please, we encourage you guys to reach out to us. We'll be able to get back to you and help you in this journey. I know, as BK has said, so many of them are startups, we're SMEs, and we're just starting in this field of trying to tap into digital advertising, the biggest, of course, percentage, as he has said. But please, you guys, you can always reach out to us, and we'll be able to support you and help you. With that, allow me to also thank you again, the attendees and the panelists. First, of course, the panelists for giving the time, for sharing those huge insights, and giving us that knowledge. Somewhere it could be paid for, but you've given it to us for free. Thank you so much. But again, I would also want to thank the attendees. It's Friday, you've given your time, and you've also been able to come in and learn something. Thank you for being part of this. I believe we will be able to share some of this content. We have the emails of whoever has been part of this. So we'll be sharing the presentation, so that you can have also a run through, so that if in case maybe we've been running a bit fast, you can have a time to read through and be able to digest on what we've been sharing about. So thank you so much. So we'll share this, and with this, allow me to stop here and wish you a very good Friday and a weekend coming, of course. And let's touch base again. We'll be having our next webinar next month. We'll be communicating to you, since we already even have your emails. So we'll have another one like this. Of course, it could be a bit of a different topic, yes, but we'll have something very insightful as this in our next webinar next month. Thank you so much, and have a great Friday and weekend. Bye. Yes. Thank you, Joseph, for saying that. Thank you. Thank you, guys.